The moment Red Thompson delivered the warning, the clubhouse shifted from a battleground into a launch pad. Panic didn't break out, purpose did. Sonny didn't waste seconds demanding proof or details. The look in Red's eyes was enough. There are some truths a man doesn't need explained to him, only confirmed. The Angels had 40 minutes, maybe less, before the second hit came. And the second hit was never the one meant to capture you. It was the one meant to eliminate your options. Sonny pushed past Red and stepped into the cold night air. Fog rolled around him like smoke from a fire that hadn't started yet, and the distant hum of the city sounded different, now sharper, more alert, like the entire state had turned its ear toward Oakland. Behind him, engines began to rumble, first one, then two, then the whole clubhouse alive with ignition. But riding wasn't escape. Riding was positioning. And Sonny's voice cut through the rumble with the clarity of a man who had survived too many wars to misunderstand the moment. We split. 2 groups. No formation. The men stared, startled. They had ridden in tight packs all their lives. Packs were loyalty. Packs were survival. But tonight, packs were targets. The younger members hesitated. Two-Tone threw up his hands. We scatter. That's running. Sonny shook his head. No, running is moving without control. We're controlling where they look. In that sentence lay the tactic California hoped the Angels would never recognize. The second team wasn't coming to arrest them. It was coming to shepherd them, to drive them into a corner where cameras, politics, and public expectations could finish what the breach had started. So the Angels didn't ride to escape. They rode to redefine the battlefield. Within minutes, the bikes poured out of the alley like steel animals breaking from cages. The engines screamed through the fog, splitting in opposite directions, some north, some east, a few deliberately doubling back to create false trails. Cars don't move like bikes. Helicopters don't pivot fast enough to track scattered heat signatures. And California's eyes, despite all its power, were still human. Humans could be blinded. Sonny rode with the smallest group, only 5 men, including little Mike and Rusty. The night swallowed them as they cut through industrial blocks, past shuttered warehouses lit only by dying halogen bulbs buzzing overhead. The deeper they rode, the darker everything became, until the only light left was the fractured red glow bouncing off the chrome of their handlebars. But it wasn't the darkness behind them that mattered. It was the darkness ahead. Somewhere in that darkness, an unmarked team was moving quiet, tactical, eager. Their goal wasn't confrontation. Their goal was capture of something far more valuable, the narrative of an outlaw gang fleeing justice. If they could film the Angels running, the public would decide the story for them. A noise cracked through the night, an engine that didn't belong to them. Sonny raised his left hand, signaling the group to slow. The engine wasn't coming from behind. It was coming from the side, pacing them. Shadows rippled across the fog as a dark sedan crawled through an adjacent street, lights off, matching their speed. Little Mike muttered, "They're hurting us." Sonny felt it too. Every block they passed, another angle closed. Another street darkened. Another quiet trap snapped into place. And this, he knew, was the real battle. Not bullets, not fists, not raids. It was maneuvering, strategy, psychological warfare wrapped in asphalt. "Cut left," Sonny ordered. The group veered into a narrow corridor between abandoned factories. Their engines echoed off the brick walls, amplifying their presence, but also cloaking the sound of the sedan. When they emerged on the far side, the sedan was gone. But ahead, a helicopter's spotlight swept low across the skyline, hunting, searching, hungry. The run wasn't about speed anymore. It was about unpredictability. They hit the freeway only for seconds before Sonny signaled another exit, diving into the shadows of a storage yard where hundreds of identical shipping containers stood like silent soldiers. Inside, the engines went quiet one by one until the only sound was the ticking metal of cooling pipes. The men breathed hard, nerves wired tight. Rusty spoke first. "We can't hide here long," Sonny nodded. "We won't." He walked to the edge of the container row, peeking out toward the distant sweep of the helicopter's beam. "They expect us to run until we're cornered." "So we don't run." Little Mike frowned. "Then what do we do?" Sonny turned back, eyes sharper than the fog, voice steady. "We disappear." That meant abandoning the freeway, abandoning predictable paths, riding through a part of Oakland where even police didn't patrol aggressively at night, not because they feared crime, but because they feared confusion. Narrow roads, dead ends, underpasses that tangled into each other like a maze built for machines, not men. They remounted. Engines whispered to life instead of roaring. This time they didn't scatter, they flowed. Silent, low, serpentine through the cracks of the city. California had prepared for running. It hadn't prepared for dissolving. And as they slipped beneath a rusted overpass where fog pooled like a drowned river, Sonny felt the shift. The hunter had momentarily lost the trail. But the run wasn't over. Because disappearing always has a cost. Once you vanish, you must choose where and how you reappear. As they crossed under a train bridge, Red's warning repeated itself in Sonny's mind. They want the cameras to see you react. Cameras hadn't caught their run. Cameras hadn't caught panic. Cameras had caught nothing yet, but California wasn't done. So the next step wasn't about escape. It was about reclaiming the frame. If they didn't control the story would control them. Sonny slowed until his group formed a loose semicircle around him. "Listen," he said. "Tonight isn't about getting away. It's about making sure when they look for us, they don't find what they expect." Little Mike asked, "What do they expect?" Sonny's eyes hardened. "Outlaws running scared." He pointed forward into pitch-black industrial ruins ahead. "We're not running scared. We're running smart." Then he turned his handlebars, revved once, and shot forward into the darkest part of the city, ready to choose a battleground California didn't he even know existed. Because the night wasn't their enemy. The darkness was their weapon, and the run had only just begun.